last section of the chapter, quadratic formula and the discriminant. So what we've done so far, basically there's 4 different ways to solve quadratic equations. There's graphing, there's factoring, there's completing the square. All right, graphing, graphing is one of those that you can do it for any of them, but it just takes a while. You have to put it in your calculator, graph it, get the intersection, stuff like that. Factoring is the fastest, but it only works in special situations. Completing the square is pretty efficient, but there's a lot of little things to remember. Okay, so the kind of catch-all if you want to be solid in one thing, it's completing this. It's a quadratic formula. All right, and that's where this comes in. The quadratic formula is this. It is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, b squared, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, that will be given to you. Okay, all the time. I'll be given to you. My question to you is this: where do a, b, and c come from? Snowy.
The quadratic equation.
A quadratic equation, good. From way back when, ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, that's where that comes from. So, basically what this is going to do is allow you to plug in those 3 numbers, simplify them down, and then get your answers. Alright, so now we don't have to worry about dividing by 2 and squaring it. We don't have to worry about taking the square root out. It's all there for us. Okay, so this is very much just plugging in numbers, solving the equation.
Given to us in like tests and stuff?
Alright, now the part that won't be given to you is this part. That's called the discriminant. Alright, now part of the quadratic formula is known as the discriminant. It's the b squared minus 4ac. Alright, not the square root though. Okay, keep that in mind. It is just the b squared minus 4ac, excluding the square root itself. There's a lot of different things. We're not going to get into it today. This will be next week's, probably Monday or Wednesday or Tuesday or whenever we see each other again. We're going to go into what this number actually means and how we use it and stuff like that. For today, what you need to know, because it's going to show up on your calculator, you need to know that this is known as the discriminant. All right, that's really all you need to know for today. We'll get into this later. So it determines the number and type of roots of a quadratic equation. Solve x squared minus 10x equals 11. Okay, that's going to be problem number 1. 2 things. Number 1, like I said, I will give you the quadratic formula, so I'm going to write it out real quick up here. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so I won't write that out on every single slide today. I'm just going to kind of do it this one time that we can really talk in depth about it. All right, but you will have it somewhere on a quiz test. All right. The second thing is this is just like factoring as far as what you need to see. All right, and what do your equations have to equal when you factor? Does anybody remember?
Whole numbers?
No.
Square root?
No. Your equations had to equal what when you factored? When you solved by factoring, there was a specific number you had to make it equal. Stovey? 0. You got to make your equation equal 0. You have to do that here also. So how are we going to make this equation equal 0?
Minus 11.
We're going to subtract 11. Okay. Which will give us x squared minus 10x minus 11 equals 0. Alright. After you do that, you go in and you find your a, b, and c. Okay? There's a 1 in front of this x squared. Alright? Just so we know. Okay, so a, here's what I do. I do a equals, b equals, c equals. A equals 1, b equals Negative 10 and c equals negative 11. Right in order from your quadratic. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? Now what you do is you take all three of these numbers and you replace them to their corresponding variables up in the quadratic formula. Okay? That's all you have to do. So, the key part here is wherever you see the variable, make sure you put parentheses. Alright, so the numbers I'm going to substitute in green. Make sure you can see the green. Oh, yeah. And then the signs I'm going to leave black. So negative, what's B? Negative 10. Alright. Hang tight. Don't get ahead. Alright, plus and minus the square root of 4. What's A? 1. What's C? Oh, I must be squared. Hold up. My bad. Hold on. I can fix this. It might be a little tight, but I can fix it. Ah! I can't fix it. Okay. What's B again? Sorry. B is negative 10. And it gets what? Squared. Minus 4. Alright. A is 1. C is negative 11. And that's all underneath the radical. And all of that is over what? 2a, and a is 1. Okay, let me get this out from the side just a little bit. There we go. Much better. Clean up over here a little bit so we can see it nice and proper. There you go. Okay. So you go in, everything that's in black, so the negative, the plus minus, the square root, the squared, the minus 4, and the 2 are all always there when you plug in, okay? Those are the mainstays of the formula. What changes are the three variables A, B, and C. Where your key is the fact that you put your negative ones around in parentheses, all right? Now go through and start simplifying things. So minus and negative 10 becomes what? Positive 10. Okay. Plus or minus. Has anybody ever seen this sign before? Plus minus? You have? Okay, good. We'll get to that, what that means in a little bit. All right. The square root, what's negative 10 times negative 10? 100. Okay. Minus, what's 4 times 1? 4 times negative 11? Well, you'll see what I mean, okay? Just ignore the minus for now. All right. 4 times 1 is 4 times negative 11 gives you? Negative 44. So we have 100 minus negative 44. All over 2 times 1 is? 2. Okay. From there, continue your simplifying. So what's 100 minus a negative 44?
66.
Whoa, other way. 100 minus a negative 44. 144. Back-to-back negatives make positive. Okay. What's my next step then? Which is what? 12. Good. Okay, so we have 10 plus minus 12 over 2. Okay. Now this is where that plus minus comes into play. How many? This is a quadratic equation, right? And how many answers do you have with the quadratic equation?
3.
You went from typically you have 2, right? That's from completing the square. That's why you split it up and you get 2. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, factoring 1, 2. Quadratic equation, same thing. Your two answers come from plus, minus. So what you do from here is you split it up into 2. You do 10 plus 12 all over 2. 10 minus 12 all over 2. Okay. And then you simplify the numerator first. So what's 10 plus 12? 22. 22 divided by 2? 11. Whoops. 10 minus 12?
Negative 2.
-2 over 2, -1. So your two answers are 11 and -1. So first thing you do is
Move the 16 on.
subtract 16, good. Okay, which gives you x squared plus 6x minus 16 equals 0. Okay, remember you always got to equal 0. Alrighty, A is
At 1.
1, B is 6, C is -16. Okay, I want to see this work every single time, right here. Alright? Now plug in, okay, so negative B, so that'd be -6 plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. Okay, Stovey?
Quick question, Roper. You said you'd always give us the formula.
Yeah. I'm not gonna write it every time though today. Okay. Alright, go through, start simplifying. So you have -6 plus or minus the square root. 6 times 6 is 36. Let's see here. Minus, what's 4 times 1?
32.
What's 4 times 1?
Oh, 4 times 1?
Yeah. 4. What's 4 times -16? -64. So we have 36 minus a -64 inside the square root. All over 2 times 1 is 2. Alrighty, which gives you -6 plus or minus. What's 36 minus -64? 100. All over 2. What's the square root of 100? 10. So -6 plus 10 over 2. This is your split up. Okay, yeah. So we have -6 plus 10 over 2, -6 minus 10 over 2. So -6 plus 10? 4. 4 over 2. -6 minus 10. Divided by 2. -8. Good. Okay. Now, most of the time you're going to get nice answers. Okay? Most of the time you're going to get nice answers like that, all right? Nash, what's up, bud?
How did you
You see, okay, so remember how quadratic goes for ax squared plus bx plus c? Remember how it goes ax squared plus bx plus c? You see how there's nothing in front of the x squared, so you assume it to be 1. Okay?
Oh, it's just set up
Mm-hmm. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. ABC.
like, how do we put them, like, how did you do it,
Let's take the same problem. Let's go to your calculator. All right.
Which one do you...
Now, what I did to your calculator yesterday was not actually put on a virus. Okay, I did not put on a virus on your calculator. What I actually did was give you a program. Okay, we're going to do some programs in here, not a lot, and they're really, really helpful. Okay, so the program I gave you, if you look at your keyboard, and this is kind of, if you see right there, there's a key called PRGM. Let me change my color so you can see it. Hold up. There you go.
Ooh.
PRGM, right there, short for program. Okay, you want to click it. All right, now you should have, as you can see, there's 3 submenus: execute, edit, and new. All right. Unless you know what you're doing, I want you to only use execute. Don't go into edit and try to edit code of the program because you'll probably make a mistake. If you do, you might make a mistake. It's hard to get out of. You have to kind of know what you're doing. All right. My suggestion, if you want to learn, YouTube. Okay. There's a bunch of different programs you can write for this calculator that'll help you a long way.
Wait, you can
Okay.
type them out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. And there's just YouTube TI-84 programs.
Then we can make
And there's a
our own
bunch.
programs so you don't have to like.
Correct. Yeah, and you can make all different kinds of programs that'll do shortcuts. Especially helpful on the ACT.
Can
Okay.
we like hook it up to our computer and download it that way, or is that?
I probably not,
No.
just because I don't think they have like the code embedded on their YouTube video.
Okay.
So I
Well,
think
like-
you would have to.
Like
I mean,
somewhere. Like,
maybe
search.
somewhere,
Oh.
but like the YouTube videos do step by steps, and like they show you the keys. They use the software that I have,
Okay.
so they show you exactly where to go, exactly what to put in. They're about 15 minutes long. All right. The execute menu that it pops up under is what you want. Okay. So on here I just have quad on my personal calculator. I have like 6. So I'm highlighting quad. That's the one you want. You hit enter. On your home screen, the words PRGM quad come up. So this is basically saying, do you want to run this program? You hit enter one more time, and that's what starts the program. Okay? Everybody good? All right, Sydney? Let me see it. Now, the reason why when you do these, I want you to label your A, B, and C is because the next 3 questions the program is going to ask you is A, B, C. Okay? So here's what you do. What was our A in that problem we just did? 1. So we're going to hit 1, and we're going to hit enter. Okay, then it's going to ask us for B. B was 6, so we hit 6, we hit enter. C was negative 16. Make sure you use the negative sign down here, not the minus sign. Come on, arrow. Wake up. Not this minus sign. You want the negative sign itself, okay? Hit enter. All right. Next line is going to say discriminant. And in this case, the discriminant was 100. Where was the 100 in our problem? Anybody remember? Underneath the square root, right? Just as it should be. Okay. Ready for this? Hit enter one more time. What were our answers?
I like how it says done after.
2 and negative 8. Done. Mic drop.
That's so much easier.
Okay.
No, that's cheap, because you don't know what you did.
Why we just learned it.
So like on the test, we can just plug it in the square root.
Here's what I want to see. I want to. If I gave you x, if we're to the x squared plus 6x minus 16 equals 0 step, right? And we have a equals 1, b equals 6, c equals negative 16. I still want to see you plugging in negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 16 all over 2 times 1. I want to see all that. After that, negative 8, 2, circle. Okay? That's what I want to see on your papers. Fair enough? Now, this only works, okay, so maybe you've messed around with it after we did this, maybe you didn't. If your screen is still where mine is, okay, and it says done, and you haven't done anything to it, if you hit enter again, right away, it starts the program over again. Okay? Alright, so you don't have to keep going back in as long as you didn't do anything with your calculator between. Make sense? So when I tell you that then your next question is right here, alright, x squared plus 8x plus 16, alright, to make sure we get to everything today, I'm going to say you guys know how to do the setup, we're just going to run the program. Alright, what's A? 1, what's B? C is? 16. So let's go back and run it. Alright, so A is 1, B is 8, C is 16. Okay. Discriminant is 0. which means that would be the number that ends up where?
Under the square root.
Under the square root. Very good answer, Mr. Williams. Okay, under the square root. Your solutions, -4, -4. All right. Easy enough? Okay. Little side note, since they repeated, you don't necessarily need to write it twice. I'm not taking off if you do, but you don't need to. Okay? All right. Everybody good so far? Okay. Now, this program is not a end-all, be-all, catch everything, everything's hunky-dory. Okay? So there will be some cases that you have to still show a little work, all right? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this one is one of them. Okay, I might be mistaken. So we have 2, 6, and -7. So let's run this real quick, see what we get, okay? So hit enter again. 2, 6, -7. Hit enter. Yeah. Okay, this one says the discriminant is what? 92. All right, now, if you've been paying a little bit of attention to your discriminant numbers, okay, they've had something in common prior to this one. If I'm not mistaken, we've had 0, we've had 100, and we've had, I think, 144.
Oh, I thought you meant underneath of it.
That's what I'm talking about. Underneath
No,
it.
not underneath the square root. I thought you just meant underneath.
Oh, underneath the bar. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm talking about the underneath the square root. Okay. 0, 100, 144. They are all what? Perfect squares. Okay? They're all perfect squares. 92 is not. Okay? Everybody see that? 92 isn't. So when I hit enter one more time, yee. It's not your answer.
Nope.
All right. Okay? You have to go back and factor tree. All right? Whenever you have ugly answers like this, and they will be ugly decimals, you have to go back and check and figure out what's your factor tree is, okay? Because your discriminant's not a nice square. The nice part, though, is this. Let's go back to the problem. Slideshow from current slide. If you end up with one like that, what's B? Here, let's go. A, B, C. B is 6, right? So negative B plus or minus the square root. B squared minus 4AC is what?
B squared, so.
It's called the, what's it called? Discriminant. And we just ran the program that said the discriminant in this case was what? 92. Guess what? Put in 92.
So we can go
So you can go straight to that. Okay?
3 and nope.
All over 2 times what's A? 2. So for one that does not work out nicely, there's your setup. Okay? But like Poos is saying, now you have to factor tree 92 and multiply 2 and 2. Okay? So 92 goes, let's see.
So we only need to show work if we had to do that.
Do
Correct.
23 and 4.
Should go, let's see, 2 and, or 4, yeah, 23 and 4 I think is what it is, right? Yep. So 4 and 23. 4 goes 2 and 2, 23 is prime. So you have a pair of 2s that come out. Alright, so you have negative 6 plus or minus. Okay, pay attention how I take care of this one now. 2 square root of 23 all over 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. Couple things I'm going to not do this time. First thing I'm not going to do is split it up. Okay? What we were doing like plus 1 and then minus 1. Whenever it's ugly like this, I'm going to keep it as one big fraction. Okay, which is fine. Alrighty. Now, here's my last question for this example. What do you notice about this, this, and this? They're all even, which means they're all divisible by 2. Make it so. Negative 6 divided by 2 gives you negative 3. Plus or minus. 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. So 1 square root of 23. Do I need this 1 right here?
No.
Not necessarily, not at all, but I'm going to show it for this one just to show it. All over 2. That's your final answer. Okay?
So you could just have an answer without the 1.
Yeah. Negative 3 plus minus square root 23 over 2. Yeah. Okay?
But how do you know if it's the one it's right there? Like if you're checking it, like if you just
It kind of goes to what number's here. Okay, and what you're dividing out. Okay? So like say this was 4, you could only divide out a 2, so then a 2 would show up over here. But since this is a 2 and you're dividing by 2, it's going to be the 1. Okay? Alrighty. Everybody good? Okay. Couple things after this I want to show you. I'm going to look up a problem. It's not on the PowerPoint. I got to look it up just to be sure I get a good one that I'm going to run. Kind of a bonus problem just to make sure that I know when you need to show this work here. Let me see if I can find one real quick. There we go. I want you guys to kind of over here. I'm going to do it over here in red. Okay, just run it in your program. Do A is 3, B is 7, and C is 2. A is 3 up here on the board. Okay.
25, negative 1/3, and negative 2.
Okay. A is 3, B is 7, C is 2. All right, just to show it on the screen also.
I have negative 1 over 3 and negative 2.
3, 7, negative 2, right? No, positive 2. Discriminant's 25, but your answers are negative 1/3 and negative 2. All right, the negative 2 shouldn't be weird. What should be the odd surprise there is the negative 1/3. Okay, so if your answers are going to be fractions, it'll show the fraction. If it's a nice fraction, it'll show the fraction. I have that set up in your program for you. So that way, you don't have to worry about, like say the answer is 1/4. And I did a little thing in there that I'm kind of proud of, honestly. So I could make any decimal turn into the fraction it is. So it will never show up 0.25. If it's a fraction, it'll be a fraction. All right, which is nice. Which means the only time you have to show the decimal or the work is if it's decimals, like the last one, or if you have something going on like you will here. Okay. First step is to what? Move the 10 over. So A is 1. Right here. Hold up. So x squared minus 6x plus 10 equals 0.
you just moved it over.
A equals 1. B equals negative 6. C equals 10. All right. Going into the program now. Negative 6, 10. Discriminant's what?
Negative 4.
Okay, negative 4. Does that raise any red flags to anybody?
Can't be a negative.
Oh, it can be.
But it's not.
Where's the discriminant at?
Under the square root.
And what's the discriminant in this case?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So we have a negative underneath the square root, which is going to result in?
No.
No. We have solutions. They just have eyes. Okay?
Oh no.
Because hit enter. Hit enter one more time. Error. Non-real answer. So you have to, this is another example. The two where you have to show the most work, and it's really not that much work, is when you have ugly decimals and non-real answers. All right. The calculator can do a lot. It can't do those two things for you. All right. So for this one here, let's go back here. Do it again from current slide. So x squared minus 6x plus 10 equals 0. Alright, so negative b, so positive 6, plus or minus the square root. Once again, nice part is, since you know the discriminant, you can go straight to negative 4. Alright, all over 2 times 1, which is 2, right? Okay, so the square root of negative 4, since it's negative, you have that I. And what's the square root of 4? 2. Okay, so it simplifies down to 2i. So 6 plus minus 2i all over 2. And just like the last one, notice what's here, here, and here. They can all be reduced by 2. So you make it 3 plus or minus I. See how the 2 in the denominator turns to 1? Okay. So it's not like a bunch of work. Okay, you just have to know when to do the extra steps. All right. Notice how easy the calculator makes this. Okay, so I can't stress enough. If you don't have a calculator, you need to go get one. If you don't, remember to bring your calculator. You are in trouble because every problem we do from here out, or every quadratic formula problem I give you, you can use the program. If you don't have the program, guess what? You are plugging this all in every single time, just like the first time. We would still be on like problem number 4 without this program. Okay? We wouldn't get done with this lesson without the program. Okay, so it's very, very important that you have the program. All right, and you remember your calculators. Okay?